So a lot of people, I've got to the point now where I feel like I don't really say as much as I used to, because sometimes what I've said in the past, sometimes people have twisted it and ran with it, and I've ended up looking like the bad person. But I'll tell you the process of exactly what went on from kind of the start of the indoor season. I started the indoor season thinking I'm just going to race and see what happens if I can manage to get back in time. It was a big shout.
If your body's ready.
Yeah, I had an Achilles surgery 5 months before the indoor season. It was a tough thing. Anyway, I managed to somehow get myself on the start line in some form of shape. Started off really slow anyway. I ended up running 6:64. Went to the trials. Was so inconsistent. Ran really bad. Just wasn't me out there, and it was. I had to put my pride on the side. Yeah. And to be honest with you, I ended up getting beat by people I thought would never beat me, especially over the 60 meters. You know, being so successful in that event. Prior to that, I'd been Europe's #1 for 4 years in a row, with 2 European titles and a world title. And I just thought to myself, if I'm going to move on with my career, if I'm going to have the confidence in the Achilles, I'm going to have to step on the start line and put my pride to one side and just run. And I didn't run very well. Went to Birmingham the next week, ran a little bit better, 6:63, still a mile off from what my standards are. Yeah, that's a very poor performance for me in terms of what I've done in the past. And anyway, I felt like I felt like they might have selected me. I'd missed the standard, I think by a few hundredths of a second, and I'd beaten all the lads that beat me at the trials. Yeah. And then I didn't get selected, but then I had like loads of support of people on social media saying that I should be going as defending champion. I felt like defending champion should always have a
chance. If you have a choice, you should be able to decide if you want to go to it, really.
Yeah. And I thought to myself, you know what, I've came so far, and I've gone through so much mental battles through my Achilles injuries, this and that. Got dropped by Nike, no sponsorship. I got dropped by another sponsor, Totem Sport. So financially, I took a big hit there in my earnings. And obviously, without a summer of competing, if you're not racing, you're not getting paid. Yeah. Luckily, I'd done really, really well in the years before then to be quite comfortable. But I felt like there was a lot of pressure on my shoulders anyway. A lot of people thought that I should have been running as defending champion. Yeah. And anyway, I thought to myself, well, you know what, I'll put an appeal process in. As I went to put an appeal process in, somewhere along the line, because of probably all the social media stuff, British Athletics didn't want me to run. And I thought to myself, okay, it's a bit disappointing that they don't want me to run. I can understand that they have their policy and their selection, but I did have the European Athletics standard, and the British Athletics standard was quite high. In fact, if you'd done the British Athletics standard, you would have won the European Championship, which was crazy. And, whereas the women's standard, you wouldn't have made the final. Yeah. So it's like, I think that could be reviewed. But anyway, no excuses. In the past, that would never have been an issue for me. I've ran under 660, I think 50 times, 45 times. I've run 6'5" or 6'4". Which
is a record in itself.
Yeah, which is massive. And so I thought to myself, in the past, that wouldn't be an issue, but it had, because I had an Achilles. I was coming back from an Achilles injury. Anyway, somewhere along that process, before the appeal even got heard by British Athletics, European Athletics contacted me and said, look, we've overrided it and we're putting you in. Sick. So thanks for European Athletics for doing that. Went to Glasgow. I thought I was going to win. Really thought that my experience and my talent would get me through it. I knew that I hadn't had the background of training and the preparation that I probably needed, but I put it on the line, went out there and fell short, but I was proud of myself that I got on the line and I had an opportunity to defend my title with my shield held high, and didn't pay off, but I'm sure I'll come back again and I think I can win that title.
What made having that surgery 5 months before?
Yeah.
What was the key thing that made you say, you know what, as much as I've had this, I'm still gonna go and race? Because Achilles is one of those injuries that you kind of, as sportsmen and women, we all know that that's a very dangerous area when it comes to injuries. Yeah. So having had the surgery, what made you say, you know what, I've only had this much training, but I'm still going to go and compete? Because it wasn't even like you were competing just to kind of see where you were. Like, you were really going for it. And obviously, I know being defending champion, that does come into play. Yeah. But your health as well.
Yeah.
So what was the deciding factor? Like, what pushed you on to do it?
You know what's... When I came out, after I had my surgery, when I came round, one of the things which got me through my rehab, I was driving an hour and a half every day to the rehab centre up and down into North Yorkshire from home in Teesside. And every day I was going down there, I thought to myself, I pictured myself winning the European title again, getting back to full fitness. And eventually I took big steps getting there, and I thought to myself, I'm not too far off. Mm-hmm. And to be honest with you, I really thought I could go and win it, but didn't pay off, and I thought, even thought throughout the season I was getting faster every race. I could still go and win, and it'd have been an amazing moment for me if I could win it for the third time. And to be honest with you, now it's got to the point where I'm not even running for myself now. I've got my 2.5-year-old son, and now it's just about like making my family proud and enjoying kind of the latter half of my career, to be honest with you. And I really felt like I could have medalled. And as I said, it didn't happen, but it was just the vision of potentially being able to win it for the third time in a row. And I thought I was close, and I fell slightly short, but that's it.
That, having come so close to getting your third title, must be like a great feeling to know that even, let's say you were 50, 60% fit?
Yeah.
Compared to what you're used to being? Yeah. In the back of your mind, that means you must be like, well, you know what, 100%, I can go and knock these out back to back. Yeah, for sure. It gives me the confidence now of moving forward into the summer and into next season and building on. If I can perform like that, literally so short after overcoming all that adversity, I think it gives me big confidence going into the summer, going into next year and the next couple of years of my career, to be honest. And there was lots of other stuff going on around the European Championships that people didn't understand as well. I got a Puma contract. I signed with Puma in the December, and 10 days before the European Championships, I didn't tell nobody in the interviews. I rolled my ankle training in Loughborough. I think I was slowing down on the Mondo track, on the Mondo lane. I was doing a speed session there in preparation for that. It was the day that it got announced that I'd be selected. And rolled my ankle. I couldn't walk for 4 days. I was on crutches, my ankle completely filled with water. It was a freak thing. I had to go and get a cortisone injection and the water drawn out of it. So I didn't train at all for 10 days before Glasgow. I couldn't even do a pre-meet. I couldn't even warm up the day before. And when I got there for the opening rounds of the 60 metres, I thought to myself, when I get on the track and put my spikes on, just pray that I'm not in pain, because I just rest it, iced it every day. So the preparation wasn't great, but because of that, the Puma spikes were running a little bit high on my ankle. Okay. And coming from an Achilles injury, I'd signed with a new brand, and I was only wearing the spikes for a few weeks. They didn't quite fit me properly. Okay. Not fit me properly. They were causing me pain where I'd had my injection and the water taken out and where I'd had the issue. Yeah. So we spoke to Puma, and I said to them, my manager said to them the night before Glasgow, Richard's having massive issues with the spikes. He's going to have to wear an unbranded pair of spikes. And they said, okay. They said, right, as long as he covers them up, as long as there's no logo on them, that's fine. So if you've seen in Glasgow, I had an all-white pair of spikes on. Yeah. The next day, when I finished fourth and didn't win the title, Puma called me up and said, we're cancelling your contract. So I lost my Puma contract, even though 2 days before that, the Puma track and field, the head of that, Nicholas, told me that it was okay to wear them in Glasgow. So wait, you got the contract in December, and you lost it in March? Yeah. Well, actually, my contract started in January, so I lost it within 8 weeks. To me, it was quite upsetting because they told me if they'd have said, right, you're not allowed to wear these spikes, I would have wore the Puma spikes, but I thought to myself, right, I'm defending my title. And you had a good reason for not wearing them as well. I had a good reason. I just came back from Achilles surgery, and I'd rolled my ankle. I'd had an injury 10 days before, and they said that it was okay for me to do. So that was disappointing. But you get over it. There's so much adversity I've overcame in my life that stuff like that I'm not really too fazed about. It is what it is. That's the nature of the sport. There's a business side of the sport. And the sportswear companies, British Athletics, the agents, the managers, the meat promoters, at the end of the day, it's just business, and you've just got to roll with the punches, really. Question of the tone when I'm stepping in, 30 bottles of Zoom till I'm sentimental. I had to